I'm Kaylee and welcome to day one of this winter series 2.0. So all you need for this session is just your mat, but if you do like to work with any supportive head cushions or blocks or bolsters, then please go and grab those now. As you can see, I've also got some lights behind me, just making the space a little bit extra cozy for our practice today. So anything you want to grab to make your space feel really cozy and comfortable, then please go and grab that. And then when you're ready, we will get started. So we're going to start today's session in this nice seated position here. So come to this cross-legged position, or we can take the legs out straight in front of us or bring them into that long frog. And of course you can also come up onto your knees as well if you want to. So we're just sitting up nice and tall here, resting the hands down wherever they feel comfortable. So on the knees or on the mat. And I just want you to have a little bit of a body check-in, so a little bit of a body scan. So you can drop your eyes to a close here if you wish, or just soften that gaze. And we're going to begin by taking 3 big deep lateral breaths. So by lateral breath I mean that big deep inhale into the side and the back of the rib cage. So really directing that breath down there in that direction rather than that high chest breathing. So we're going to take a big deep inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And again, big deep breath in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Let's take one last big deep inhale. And exhale, breathe out. And if you had your eyes closed, just gently open them now. And then I just want you to think about growing even taller. So from the base all the way through to the crown of that head. So sitting nice and tall. Send those shoulders down the back, so away from these ears. Feel nice and wide across the collarbone and across the chest. Good. And then let's begin our movement today just by taking some neck rolls here. So we're just going to take the head and the neck just over to one side. Just pausing there for a moment. Maybe take a big deep inhale again. Exhale, breathe out. As we slowly come back to center. Good. And again on the other side, let's go over. Pausing there for a moment. Take a big deep breath. Exhale as we come back just to center there. Really nice. And then let's just bring the fingers just to the shoulders here. We're going to come into some shoulder circles. Just slowly take those shoulders backwards here. So nice and slow. Again, still checking in with that body. So maybe one side feels a little bit better than the other side today. Good. And then let's just change direction there. So bring them forward now. Good. Lovely. Still focusing on those deep lateral breaths. We're going to take one more circle coming forward. Good. And then let's just bring these hands back down by our side here, just on top of those legs. We're going to come into some chin tucks. So we're just going to take the chin down towards the chest. And then let's send it up towards the ceiling. Good. And again, just down towards the chest. And sending it up towards the ceiling again. Just noticing any parts of the movement here that maybe feels a little bit better on either side. Maybe on each shoulder. Good. Anywhere that feels a little bit tight. Good. Just bring that head back to center now. Lovely. We're going to come up onto our mat. So let's come up into 4-point kneeling. So on those all fours, we're going to go ahead and take the arms directly underneath the shoulders. Let's take the legs directly underneath the hips. hip width apart and parallel. Think about that nice neutral spine, and we're pushing away from the mat, so staying nice and open across the chest, checking with the head and neck as well. Good. And then let's just come into this cat, all the way out into that extended cat. So we're going to take an inhale. On the exhale, we're going to slowly start to nod the head, the neck, the upper spine. We're going to tuck that tailbone under, and then we're going to extend all the way out, opening up that chest, and then we go again. So it's just that gentle rocking movement back and forth, tucking that tailbone, and then we're extending, but we're still very much thinking about that length. So length from the tailbone and all the way through to the crown of the head. Good. Let's do one more here like this, just mobilizing this spine. Good. And then coming back just to center there. Lovely. So from here then, we're going to go ahead and lengthen one leg behind us. We're going to tuck these toes as well, so we've got that nice base beneath us there. And we're going to come into this threading the needles. So we're going to lift that opposite hand, so opposite hand and arm to the leg that's lengthened. We're going to lift and we're going to reach up towards the ceiling. We're then going to come down, allow the other arm to bend as we thread through, ear towards the mat. And then let's come all the way back through again as we reach. And again, we thread through, allow the other arm to bend. You're getting that lovely opening in that hip on that one side too. We've got one last one, we reach. And then come all the way back through. And then just come back to center. Lovely. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and just lift that leg. So bring it up to hip height. We're going to bend that knee, so kissing that tailbone with that ankle. Good. We're then going to lengthen that leg. We draw back, and as we hover, create that lovely C curve there, that cat flexion with that spine. And then we go again. So we lengthen. We draw in, flex the foot, lengthen away, draw in, create that lovely cat flexion. One last time here, we lengthen, we bend, flex the foot, we lengthen, we draw in, and then let's just lengthen there, we lower and draw that leg back in, bringing that knee back down onto that mat. Lovely. So let's go again on the other side. So we're going to lengthen that leg, tuck those toes, again finding that nice base beneath you there. And then from here, we're just going to lift that opposite hand and arm up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to rotate, thread through, allow the other arm to bend, allowing that ear to go down towards the mat. And then we're threading back through as we reach. And again, going down, we thread through. We've got one last time, we reach up. We go through, allowing the other arm to bend. And then let's reach up one last time before bringing that hand back down onto the mat. Good. And then from here, we're going to kick that leg up to hip height. We're going to flex the foot, bend that knee. We lengthen, point that foot, draw that knee and come into that cat flex there. And we go again, we lengthen, flex and bend, good. We lengthen and point. We draw in, flex that spine. We lengthen one last time here, we bend. We lengthen, we draw in, flex that spine. And then let's lengthen and lower as we draw that knee in. Good. Let's just come off these wrists for a moment. Just maybe come into some wrist circles. So just taking the circles one way here. Good. And then taking them the other way. Lovely. And then maybe just giving them a little bit of a shake before we come back on to those hands. Good. Find that nice neutral again here, and we're going to take one leg, we're going to take it behind us once more. So tuck these toes here. And then we're just going to see how this ankle's feeling today. So we're gently going to rock back and then come forward. And again, gently rock back, not pushing it, just taking it as far as you want to today. You'll feel that little stretch down that back of the leg, so just don't take it too far here. And same with the wrists, so not taking it too far, it's just that lovely slow, gentle movement, feeling how that ankle joint is feeling. Good, let's do one more front and back. Good. And draw back in. We do again on the other side. So we're going to lengthen that leg, tuck the toes, and then when you're ready, just come forward and then go back, flexing that foot. Good. And again, we come forward. So nice and gentle, not too much pressure through the hands or the legs. Good. Lovely. Let's just do 2 more here, back and forth. Good. We've got one last one. Good. And then draw back in. So from here now, let's come down onto these forearms. So create just that lovely stability beneath you there. So onto these forearms, almost creating that 11 with these arms, and we're going to lengthen one leg behind us again here. We're going to kick up a little bit higher than hip height, and we're going to come into these pulses. So we're just going to pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We lower, draw back in. Good. Let's do the same on the other side. We lengthen. When you're ready, kick up. We're going to hold and we're going to pulse. So let's pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We lower, draw back in. Lovely. Come back up onto these hands. And then let's come into this tabletop. So challenging that core. Still thinking about length in the opposite direction. So we're going to take an inhale. On the exhale, let's slowly lengthen and lift the opposite arm and leg. We're going to inhale here. Exhale, draw back in. We go again on the other side. We lengthen and lift. And draw back in. Good. Keep going there. So we're finding that stability at the top. Good. Using that breath to help us. We've got one more to each side. Good, one last one here. Draw back in, and then let's push ourselves back into that lovely rest position. So knees nice and wide, reach forward with these hands. Just take the pressure off those wrists as you slowly lower down. And just allow that head to fully rest. So if you've got a cushion, you can pop it just underneath your head there as well for that extra support and comfort. But we're just going to rest here for a moment. And then let's just take just a big deep inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. And again, just a big deep inhale. And exhale, breathe out. Good. And then from there, we're just going to gently unravel. And we're going to come into relaxation position. So let's come down onto our back. Take those feet hip width apart and parallel, resting that head down. And again here, we're just checking in with the body. So let that head feel nice and heavy and supported. Arms down by our side. And then from here, we're just going to come into some pelvic tilt. So we're going to tilt the pelvis towards the belly button. And then just send it away from the belly button. And again, towards the belly button. And away. Good. One more, back and forth. Good, lovely. And then back to center there. Find that lovely neutral position again. And then we are going to lengthen one leg along the mat. So open up this hip joint. And we're going to take the hands behind the head here as well. So let that head feel nice and heavy and supported in these hands. And then we're going to come up into a curl up, keeping the leg where it is nice and lengthened. We're going to take an inhale. On the exhale, let's slowly start to lift the head, the neck, the upper spine. We're going to hold at the top. We inhale and then exhale as we lower. We go again, breathing in, exhaling as we curl up. So lift head, neck, upper spine. We inhale at the top and then exhale as we lower. Good. 2 more like this, breathing in, exhaling as we curl up. We inhale and then exhale as we lower. One last one, lifting through those shoulders. We inhale and then exhale as we lower. Good. Keeping those hands where they are. We'll just come into some single leg kicks. So we're going to kick up with this pointed foot. Flex on the way back down. We go again, kicking up with that pointed foot. Flexing on the way back down. Good. 2 more like this. We kick up. We flex, good. One last one, kicking up and lower. Lovely. Draw that leg back in then. Place that foot back down on the mat. We're going to lengthen that other leg. We'll do the same on this side. So again, let that head feel nice and heavy and supported in those hands. We're going to take an inhale. On the exhale, let's lift head, neck, upper spine. We're going to inhale at the top. And then exhale as we lower. Good. And again, breathing in. We're going to exhale, come up, lift through the head, neck, upper spine. We inhale. Exhale as we lower. Good. Let's do 2 more there. Breathing in. Exhaling as we come up. We inhale. Exhale to lower. One last one. Nice and strong. Lifting through those shoulders. And then lower back down. Keep those hands where they are. Let's come into these single leg kicks. We're going to kick up with that pointed foot. Flex on the way back down. And again, we kick up. Flexing on the way back down. Good. 2 more here. We kick up. Lovely. One last one. And then draw that foot back in there. Lovely. And then from here, we're going to come up into this curl up again. So let's lift head, neck, upper spine. This time we're going to hold at the top. So we're just going to bring these arms down by our side. And I really want you to think about reaching forward with these fingertips. So we're rounding the shoulders and we're really lifting through the upper back. And we're going to start coming into our hundreds here. So we're going to start beating these arms nice and strong. Good. Keep reaching forward and stay nice and lifted, but opening that chest as well. Good. Lovely. So keep going here. Nice and strong beats with these arms. We're really working that deep core muscles. Good. Keep that gaze in between those thighs. We're going to go for 5. We've got 4. We've got 3. We've got 2 and one last one. Let's slowly come out of that curl up, and as we do, let's just draw both knees in towards us. Take a little rock from side to side, hug them in nice and close. Good. And then just come back to center, just pausing there for a moment, drawing them in. Allow the body to just relax, relaxing those hips. Let's take a big deep inhale. And exhale, breathe out. Good, lovely. And then from here, we're just going to go ahead and bring those feet back down onto the mat. We're going to come into some rib cage closures with these arms now. So take a big deep breath in. As you exhale, take the arms up and over, lengthen them all the way past the ears. We're going to inhale and then exhale, bring those arms back down by our side. Good. Perfect. We've got 2 more. Breathing in, exhaling as we go back. We inhale and then exhale as we lower. Good. One last one here. Breathing in. Exhaling to take the arms up and over. We're going to keep the arms there. So just exhaling. Lengthen these legs. And then let's take a big deep inhale. We're going to take that exhale to roll all the way up. So when you're ready, let's slowly lift the hands. We're going to lift the head and the neck, coming all the way up there. Let's take this gorgeous forward stretch, reaching forwards and then sitting up. Nice and tall. Lovely. So from here, let's just bring the feet up onto the mat. So hip width apart and parallel, sitting nice and tall. We're going to take the hands just behind the thighs. So a little bend in those arms. And we're going to come into this C curve. So again, just making sure we're sitting nice and tall. So all the way from the tailbone up through to the crown of the head. And then we're going to take an inhale here. On the exhale, just slowly hinge back from those hips. But we're creating that lovely C curve. So down into that lower back, into that middle back. Keeping that little soft bend in those elbows. So not going too far back here. We inhale. And then exhale to come forward. Keep that C curve. And then we're sitting up nice and tall. Good. Let's go again. Breathing in. Exhaling as we roll back. We inhale here. And then exhale, come forwards. Just sitting nice and tall. Let's go for one last one. So big deep inhale. Exhaling as we roll back, hinging from those hips. We inhale here. And exhale, come forwards. Sitting nice and tall. Lovely. Let's just lengthen those legs just to close out our practice today. We're going to rest back on these hands, nice and open in that chest. Let's come into some point and flex with the feet. So point down towards the mat. Flex up towards the ceiling. Good. Pointing down towards the mat. Flex up towards the ceiling. We've got one last one. So point and flex. And back up. Lovely. And then wherever you are, maybe just come back to that cross-legged position or that position you started in today for our practice. And hopefully you feel a little bit better today for rolling out your mat. Thank you so much for joining me for day 1 of this winter series. I hope you enjoyed it and I look forward to welcoming you back again next week for day 2.